We feel the difference now. Yeah. See, now we're feeling what not having hope feels like.
Michelle Obama said yesterday that there's no hope. But I assume she was talking about the past, not the future, because I'm telling you, we have tremendous hope.
We're back with our panel. Let me ask you, because you know First Lady Michelle Obama, when she said now we're feeling what lack of hope feels like, I mean, what did she mean?
I think she's talking about the more than half of the voters who voted against Donald Trump who now are feeling more fearful than hopeful. She wasn't, I think, speaking about obviously the Trump supporters who are feeling more hopeful and happy. But you have to remember, we have two countries, and there is a level of heartbreak and there's a level of concern and actually a level of fear, especially within the Muslim community, the immigrant community, that she was trying to speak to. And I think she's speaking for a lot of people.
What did you make of the comments?
Exactly the same. We're a divided country. She was speaking for a side of the country that had wished for a different outcome.
I took it as a personal comment as opposed to something more political. She fought very, very hard for Hillary Clinton to win, and they did not win. And I think she's seeing part of her husband's legacy going away with the incoming presidency. So that does take a personal hit on her. I took it more as a personal thing. I don't think she meant it politically the way it's being interpreted, but it's a difficult loss for her and the president and Democrats and those who didn't vote for Donald Trump. So I didn't take it as something super strong against Donald Trump.
The electors meet tomorrow, and there has been this campaign to try to get some of them to not vote for Donald Trump, to be faithless electors. Some Hollywood celebrities have put out a video appealing to them, even appealing to specific electors by name. Take a look.
Hello, Ashley McMillan. This message is for you.
As you know, Mr. McMillan, our founding fathers built the Electoral College to safeguard the American people from the dangers of a demagogue.
One little thing, Ashley McMillan's a woman, but beyond that, Ashley McMillan, who I believe is the vice chair of the Republican Party of Kansas, wrote to the Wall Street Journal to talk about the pressure she felt, not from these celebrities, but from others. And Ms. McMillan wrote, "I won't violate the will of the people of Kansas simply because coastal elites think Mr. Trump tweets too much." Do you think there's any hope that anything other than Donald Trump becoming president will happen tomorrow?
I think
for these people, for these celebrities.
I think very little. I think again we have two Americas. In one America, people feel like, listen, you know, we have a system. He won an electoral college landslide. Let it go forward. You have other people who say, we think this guy is dangerous. We think we may have deep regrets. He may do things that are horrible. We may be in a war. Let's do everything that we can. And the electoral college, you know, Hamilton says there's supposed to be a check on tyranny, a check on demagogues. Do your job. So again, it's hard to understand how divided the country is, that for some people that makes perfectly good sense to run that ad, and other people are saying, what are you doing?
I just want to know where the liberal elite outrage was when Barack Obama won the Electoral College 4 years ago and 8 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, the Republicans won. They're questioning the Electoral College. I think nothing...
Well, I think the popular vote is an issue, and with almost 3 million votes more for Hillary Clinton.
I think at the end of the day, I think he won 306 electoral votes. I think that's going to stand, and I think despite all these pleas from Hollywood, it's not going to change anything.
We should point out, though, Congressman, it's not just Hollywood. John Podesta, Clinton's campaign chairman, has been pushing for these electors to get a security briefing about the role that Russia played. The director of national intelligence said, no, that briefing's not going to happen. So I can't say that it's just Hollywood liberals and actors. The Clinton campaign has a hand in this, too.
I think this is dangerous. This whole even notion that there's two Americas and we're going to live with the fact that there's two Americas is dangerous, because that is created a level of political divide that's very hard to get over if you go through this process. And I think this adds fuel to that fire. It's somehow somebody stole it. So let me get this right. They're basically saying all of the emails that were released showed us doing some really bad things that made Americans lose faith in us. Had whoever done it, I would assume it would be the Russians through WikiLeaks. Don't know that, just from information I've read. Had the Russians not pointed out, or that information not been pointed out, all those bad things would have been kept quiet, and we'd be president of the United States. That's a losing argument.
But
and you know what? Here it is. The Electoral College is there to protect also states' rights. They use the demagogue, but it's also to protect other states. Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan went for Donald Trump because they said something's not working in Washington, D.C., either in California or New York, the way it's not working for us here at home. We've got to change that.
Listen, I agree with much of what you say. I just want to point out it's the asymmetric part of it. It's that they released the bad emails from the Democrats, but not the Republicans, that gives this heartburn, I think, for Democrats.
And I wanted to, when you talk about the divided America, here's the reality. The reality is when Al Gore won the popular vote and George Bush won, George Bush knew he needed to pull the country together. This president that's going to be our president, and I accept that, when Barack Obama was elected, continued to pursue a birther conspiracy. We do need to pull together. We are America, but there's a reality out there that we are divided. Yeah. The Electoral College is not a rubber stamp in many states. You do have to think about your vote in a system of
All right,
bill.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
God bless us, everyone.